So this is a 10,000 pound lift. £10,000 lift. The tractor weighs 3,600. The lift states vehicle weight individual axle weight does not exceed 1/2 lift capacity. Here we go. This one is pretty small. So they're all pre-loosened, and we're good to go. Ready to go. 1, 2, and 3. So we'll go ahead and I don't know whether it's going to hit this and then splash out. I'm going to get a piece of cardboard. Just anything that'll give me the ability to prevent that from flying out. I'm going downstairs, so here we go. And here it comes. And I did lose the line. Of course I did. I did lose the washer. I do hear a little whistle as this oil is draining, which is kind of interesting. Oil's kind of dark, darker than what I would have thought it would be. I could see the color is almost syrup colored, but not quite that dark. That oil is draining perfectly. I'll go ahead and get a towel. Here, got a towel ready to go. And that oil is still coming out pretty strong. is rubber on this seal. Looks like it's about the same on both sides. Remove this over. That begins to start. That oil to me seems dark. I don't know what you think, but it does seem pretty dark for hydraulic fluid. There was some residual oil in the pan, not very much. Definitely tell this oil's been used. As it came out, there weren't any metal particles in it, but it was kind of darker than what I thought it would be. It's normally white, pretty much clear. You can hardly see it. When you pour it in, I don't think it has this color. I guess we'll find out. The other question I had was, I'm wondering about oil in implements, such as, backhoe, or the oil in the grapple, or something like that. That oil doesn't really get changed. It gets mixed in with the existing oil in your system. So when you go through and you do a full oil change of your hydraulic fluid, you really don't end up changing the oil in your implements. It just kind of mixes in with that. I wonder how that impacts things. I wonder if you can change that oil. I don't even know if you can. You can't change it separately unless you crack a hose and drain it all. I don't know how much there is. Maybe a gallon, maybe 2. I don't think there's a gallon. It might be 3 quarts. So you probably mix in 3 quarts of old oil, maybe a gallon, whenever you change the oil, and then you connect up a hydraulic implement, such as a grapple or backhoe. So that's intriguing to find out how that impacts your ability to maintain good quality oil in your tractor. Kind of lucky because the 2 filters, you can see them down there. 1, 2 filters right there. They've both been changed before. I did have those changed earlier. One was at 50 hours. I believe the other one was at 250 or something like that. But those hydraulic filters have been changed. And that's pretty comforting to know that I'm not going to have to fight with those filters. They should unscrew pretty readily, pretty easily. Kind of wondering how much oil this thing has got in it. I would think that most all the oil drains from this housing, from this rear housing, when you take one plug out. The other side is not going to drain as much, I wouldn't think. But we'll see. I'm going to go ahead and take the other side off while that's draining. I can take the other bucket. I can set it right here. And then we'll be able to go ahead and get that drained out here. Let's see what I can do. Keep these bolts here. Right on top of there. Okay. Let's go ahead and get another bucket. this right here. Okay. And we've got our paper ready to go. I'll get this light up here. This side. So you can kind of see what's going on. Yeah, it's here. So you can kind of see what's going on there. And we'll get our we'll go ahead and take that out now. Put this somewhere can provide a light on the subject. I don't know if that's going to work too well. Put it right here. There, I think you got a good. Let's see. I'm going to take this one off slow because I want to make sure I don't swap that. I'm not sure how much head pressure there's going to be on this one. We'll see. And I'm good. I can just hold this here and it should help me to prevent anything. Okay. A lot of head pressure. The gasket stayed on there this time. Get my hand out of the way there. Kind of see what's going on. Not as much pressure, not as much oil. It's coming down pretty quickly here on this side. So that first drain on the opposite side there really took most of the oil out. Very little, probably 2 quarts or so. So that's that. See, the gasket is still on there this time. That gasket is just a standard gasket. It's rubberized on both sides so it seals against the metal. It's like an O-ring on the inside of the washer, but it doesn't come off. It's just formed into the washer. So there's rubber on both sides of that. If I fill that, yeah, it sticks up on both sides. So you can't put it on backwards. So we'll just continue to let these drain here. A little bit. I happen to think this is probably the easiest of the 3 drains. So the next one is right, while those are draining, the next one is right there. You can see it. I've already loosened it up. It's finger tight. I have a feeling I'm going to pull a lot out of there. I've probably got maybe at the most 2 gallons of oil out at this point. But I think I'm going to have to empty these 2 before I even begin emptying that. Because if I get 5 gallons out of there, which I'm sure I will, Well, I'll get at least 5. I might get more than 5. I don't know. I do not know. I do not know how much is in this. I know there's 11.6 gallons. Filters hold some. Filters don't hold more than a gallon. The lines don't hold. The lines and filters together probably don't hold more than a gallon of fluid. So I would get 10 gallons maybe out of here. And I think I've got maybe 3. That means 7 gallons may come out of this unit. Because all that is transmission up here. All of that. So it might, I mean, this one's pretty much done. I'll go ahead and cap this one off. I think that's fine. We'll go ahead and get that put back on there. It's pretty much done. What's nice about these with that rubber seal is that you can actually go ahead and put it finger tight, and that will prevent this from leaking with that rubber seal. That's pretty nice. We still got this one going a little bit. Yeah, there's a lot of oil in the rear lift cylinders. There's oil in many places. I just don't know how that is taken. Taking the fill cap off has no impact, but I'll take it off. I'm really surprised at the color of this oil. It is much, much darker. Now granted, these were dirty oil containers. I can't really tell. But that seems a little bit dark to me. I guess we're going to find out. Maybe I can clean these out. See what kind of oil I get out of there. At least trap a cup of oil as it comes out the other fitting up here. If I can trap a cup of oil, kind of get a feel for what's coming out of there. I could have done that. Let me see if I can get a cup, some kind, and then trap the oil and see actually what it looks like. Hold on. Okay, so I have a Pepsi bottle. I'm going to go ahead and trap some of that oil from up front into this Pepsi bottle, and we'll see what kind of, see what color that oil is. I don't think there's going to be much of a difference in the color of the oil because it circulates around pretty readily. Let's go ahead and get these emptied. Stop leaking. Just a small drip. Beautiful. Take this gasket. You can see this rubber gasket. See if I can get it up there really close for you. It's got rubber. It's got rubber on both sides. Hard to see. But that rubber gasket is built right into there. It's the same on both sides. So you don't need to be concerned about flipping it onto the wrong side when you put it back on. It's all the same. So we'll go ahead and put this one back in. And once I drain the oil from the front side, I'm going to check these again just to see if there's any water that is drained back into these once I take the other plug off. But let me go ahead and get this oil drained. I don't know if there's any foreign debris in there or not. You know there's foreign debris in here. I won't know. Because these I'm gonna have 3 of these available. Drain that next section of the transmission. Get a view from this side. We should be okay with that. That view up in here. Right there. Here we go. Let's see if that works. We'll see how much that goes up. This is straight down, so it shouldn't be an issue. Let's go ahead and get this going. It's cooled down, it's pretty cool. We're going to have an issue with temperature. Let's go ahead and take that off. See if we can, that's got a very big washer on it. See what happens here. There'll be some pressure, I'm sure. Let's see. And here it comes. You ready? I'm going to go ahead and catch some of that if we can, just to get some color. See what color it is. Nice. Filters. I'll leave that right there. So we can really get a shot in there. Now, I know we've heard about folks that put a vacuum on here to prevent the oil or something from moving around, or to prevent the oil from coming out in the wrong place, or I'm not quite sure what all that means. I guess I'm going to find out, because this oil, I'm sure, is going to be a mess as it comes down, and I'm going to need to manage that. If I can break this off. I'm sure I can. I don't like these hoses right here, because they are just in the way. So it's almost to my benefit to remove that bolt, take these hoses out of the way to change the filters. Wonder how that will work. Let's see if I can do that. Look at that. Comes right off. I can move that out of the way. That's nice. I like that. As long as I can get it back on again, I'm fine with that. So these don't come out of the inside because it comes around in bolts. This. I could take that off, swing those out of the way. I'm thinking it's almost worth it to me. Instead of having these things drip for an hour, here we go. Okay, so the stud's not turning. I'm liking that whole idea. If the stud was turning, that would be a pain in the butt. This is pretty nice. Go ahead and get a flashlight on that for you guys so you can see. So I thought this stud would turn up in here, but it's not, which is nice. This allows me to... This stud comes down, I believe, from the strap that holds the gas tank. This is all good. Put this back on here. Okay, go ahead and get that back on there for us. Oh, that's really nice. I can pull this away, even bungee tie, but that's still not going to get me out of harm's way with this. With this, as it goes up and over and in and out. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. It's kind of going to hurt me no matter how you look at it. And if I push it over, there we go. Up. That's what I'm going to do. Coming over, this reaches and up. Beautiful, and let's see if this comes up here. I like that because the oil is going to drip down. I like that whole scenario. It's up and it's out of the way. Oil's going to drip down. Might run on the top a little bit, but I'm okay. Okay, and these are loose. That was very loose. Okay, but it didn't leak. So it's good. Okay. Just see. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Oh, very nice. I'm liking this whole scenario. Oil filter goes in the back. I should be able to get that off. Nope, just get it so it doesn't leak, but so that I can take it off with my hands. Okay. Now that I can take that off my hands, pretty good. Up there. I don't know if I need to put some cardboard down there. Just kind of, it's gonna run down through here. It's gonna be a mess anyway. I look at it. Let me see what I got. Hey, look at here. Look what I got. I wonder. I can go like this. And actually catch any oil that comes down. Let's see what happens. Watch it clerk, clerk, clerk. And see what I get. And I don't care. $208 on this filter. Blurp, 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 blurp. Be careful where I put my hands. I don't want to get too much oil on my hands, but I don't want this to move. I don't see a lot of action there. Of course, when I do this, it's going to run down my hand into my glove. There's no question about that. Once it clears, and it could tip, hit me in the face. And I don't think that's on camera, so I don't think you'll be able to see that. But I'm going to go ahead and just have both sides here, because it's going to be fairly heavy, I think. I don't know if I'm going to have problems clearing with the other filter in. So I might need to take the other filter out to get this filter. I'm not sure. That is a really close tolerance to that second filter. And it is still coming out. Oh, 04-2501, 208 hours. 04-08. Here it comes. Oh, there's Clement coming down without any issues. I'm going to take this filter as is, so I can check out anything that's in the top. I don't want to empty it until I actually see what's in here. So we'll take this filter right out and take a look at it. because there is a foreign object in there. I don't know what that foreign object is, but we're going to find out. Okay, so let's grab that camera and our flashlight. We're going to walk over the line. You got lights? Let's see if it's better anyway. Hi.
You want some salmon?
Oops.
You want to do it well? Huh? What do you want to do? I'll put it in my... Here, grab this. Bring it over back. Come on there.
So I'm going to go ahead and take this to my dealer, I should say my service agent, F& Supply. We'll go ahead and have them look at that and tell me what they think of that. And we'll go ahead and take that other filter off. Go from there. Hold on. I'm going to go ahead and empty this out. I don't think I need to save anything that's in there. I just wanted to make sure that they had visual representation of that material. I guess that's what filters are for, I suppose. Put that back in the container. Get that right in the back. So here they are. These are both extremely clean. Let's go ahead and put those on. I think we're good to go. Get the hoses back up. Filters are on. Hose is reconnected here. Everything looks good. There's no oil spill. So we're good here. There's a little bit of oil down here maybe. Let's go ahead and fill up the hydraulics. Let's see what we got. So there could possibly be some oil that comes out of here after opening the filter. Let's see what happens. Well, we got a pint or more. That's interesting. We did get a pint. So did we really? Yes, we did. That's probably just from the parts in there draining out a little bit. That's okay. We're good with that. Okay, let's go ahead and see what we get.
Thanks, John.
I just don't know how this is going to react. Well, was kind of foamy. Just about a quarter of an inch above that. See that point next to the T? That's the oil. Yeah, that's a level. Just a let's do that. Capture some of that oil in this bottle. If I can do that somehow, we'll find out. So let's see. Other side. 14 looks like. Sure is. I don't think this is going to hop out of there. And of course it does. That's interesting. Crazy. That's crazy. Amazing. Holy cow. That's crazy. Crazy! Amazing. So did you go up there with them?
Where?
To the lake?
Yeah.
How was it?
Fine.
Is it okay?
It's fine.
You didn't get scared, did you?
No.
You're not one of those. You're not one of those scary cat types, are you? Let's see. Big. Big. Let's see if I can suck that out. I don't know if I can. Kind of pulling that out with a vacuum, and now I'm pulling air. Just pulling air, I'm not pulling much of anything right now. You hear that vacuum? Yeah, I'm getting most all of it out with that vacuum. You see that? Just kind of sucking that oil out. Yeah, I'm getting more solid. Instead of pulling air, I'm pulling oil. Go ahead and pump that. Yep. Getting pretty solid oil out of there. We're good on this side. Just let that pull through. Okay, of course we've got this fitting up here that's empty, out, and we'll check that in a little bit, and we'll go to the other side. Take our drain. Side. There. Works for us like it did on the other one. We'll find out. let's get this. Okay. Can we get that right there? Look at this. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. That's the overfill. Now we're going to come back over. I'm going to fill this until it comes out this drain hole. So let's go ahead and get that done. About these metal shavings, and I want to try to pick them up, so I'm going to go ahead and pick them up on this, pick them up on, where is this here. I'm going to go ahead and pick them up, whatever I get. And also I went ahead and took a magnet, connected some of that stuff on there. We're going to clean it up and see what it is. Here is the oil that I pulled out of my Kubota L3560. I wanted to give folks out there and myself an idea of what these oils look like, both when they're new, as in right here, new UDT2 oil, 400-hour oil from the front axle, changed on the same day. And it's really crazy, first and foremost, to look at the transmission oil. I mean, the transmission oil doesn't get any dirt in there. It's clean, it's double filtered, it has the best care possible in that equipment. So, you know, is that color from clutch plates, brake plates, things like that wear? Most likely. I didn't see any real metallic pieces in there other than the metal that was attached to the magnet on the oil filter, I should say, itself. But there's no floaty stuff going on inside this material. I can kind of do something like this, which brightens up the color. But the new UDT, even though it's got that yellowish color, it's not dull like the 400-hour oil is for the transmission. So that's kind of interesting. I talked to a gentleman that does work with a lot of equipment that uses oil, and without telling him how many hours it had on it, just letting him know that I was changing it and showing him that oil, he said, well, that's on the edge. So that's pretty amazing, that Kubota, has a pretty good idea how long that oil should stay in your tractor maximum, as far as its use and time and abuse that it takes. So kind of fits well with someone with lots of experience working with a lot of different equipment and changing oil on that. So stepping up to the front axle oil in the middle, I'm speechless. There is no opacity whatsoever to this oil. There's none. In fact, that 400-hour oil is so dark and so filled with particulate matter that it really does concern me to see that. From what I understand, there isn't any clutch packs in the front end in the steering mechanism, other than maybe what might be in the front differential, but I think that's only gearing. So given that, if there isn't any clutch plate material that wears away in that front axle, why is that so dark? Where does that darkness come from? What is that material from? Well, if you look at the actual oil as it was coming out of the front axle into the catch pan, that oil has particulate matter in there that is indicative of a bronze metallic wear. That is, as the oil is draining into the pan, you could actually see the metallic material moving through the oil extremely heavily. It's like it's a base of the oil. It is now part of the oil. There's no separating that material. It is like putting powdered metal into something in oil and stirring it up, and you have a sheen that is metallic in nature. And it's a copper colored, or a brass colored, or a gold colored. Now, I don't know whether that is bearing material, like a brass bearing material that might be used on those shafts that the bearings fit on, or that shafts might be spinning inside the axle. It would be interesting if there's someone out there that knows particularly those front ends for Kubota and would be able to help us determine what is that material that's wearing away inside the front axle that makes that so solid as far as its color after 400 hours. Based on what I've seen, I would never let my front axle oil go more than 200 hours, because that is material that's just circulating around between the gears, and now you have metal on metal versus metal on an oil film, because the worn metal is basically become a part of the oil, and now is it like sandpaper that's just working away, or is the grit of the material that is embedded in the oil that makes it so dark and metallic, so small, are those particles so small that it has no impact on the wear, that it isn't really like a sandpaper? Maybe they're just round, like little tiny metal round balls by now that just kind of act as a deterrent to wear. I don't know. It would be interesting to know. I mean, dirty oil like that is going to have a negative impact on seals, on any brass, copper, or any other kind of bearing surfaces inside the front axle. it's going to have an impact on anything that moves and that is soaked in that material, I would think. But then again, I don't know that much about the front axle and how this oil could be a detriment if it's left in there, for God's sakes, any more than 400 hours. But I'm wondering if Kubota may have missed the boat on requiring that be a 200-hour oil change in the front axle versus a 400-hour. As can be seen, unless there's something wrong with my axle that is causing that kind of material to be shed from the axle assembly and imparted to the oil, then that oil looks like it probably could have been changed 200 hours ago. Now, even though it's hydraulic oil, it's not used, I don't believe, in a hydraulic fashion. In other words, it's a splash system, it's a soak system. That oil just sits in there and lubricates all of those gears, the front of that front axle assembly, and doesn't really do too much other than just sit there. So it's not pumped, it's not under pressure, it's not under a high heat load. None of that is imparted to that oil, but yet it's taken on the most absorption of that kind of material that might be wearing from those parts than the other oil in the system, such as the transmission oil. And of course, the transmission oil is used for your power steering. It's used for all your implements. It's used for a lot of things. So I'm looking at this oil, this transmission oil, and I'm saying if there's that much difference between here and here, between new and 400-hour oil, that is the same oil that's in all of my implements. So as soon as I plug an implement in, it mixes that oil in with the new oil. So now I have new oil with old oil, and now I get a combination. But of course, the implements don't use, because they don't have reservoirs on them, they don't use that amount of oil that's probably going to taint the new oil that much. So just interesting. It's extremely interesting to see that.